Once again, welcome to the Something Random Media Podcast, where sometimes we talk about movies, sometimes we talk about television, but we always talk about something random. My name is Charles Kelly of Something Random Media Productions. To my right, we've got Karl Pfeiffer of Karl Pfeiffer Photography, and to my left, we've got Michael Macbeth of Michael Macbeth Sausage Emporium. Welcome, Michael Macbeth.
Biggest sausages on the West Coast.
Best sausage in
Best
town.
sausage in this quadrant of town.
It's all about the girth, not the flavor.
Ooh.
Michael Macbeth sausages.
I hope your parents are listening right now, Michael.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'll make them proud.
So do they listen to the podcast?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not
I feel like I would have gotten a phone call or two.
multiple text messages being like, Michael, you're not doing this anymore.
No,
Sorry.
no.
I know mine don't, because just last night they were like, wait, isn't that podcast about ghost stuff? And I was like, nope.
That's
So,
funny. Yeah,
Not
yeah.
so much.
Mom, no, it's not about ghosts.
You need to keep up with life.
Not everything in my life is about ghosts, Mom.
This week's not about ghosts either. Not about ghosts of the past or Christmas present or Christmas future.
No, it's not like the last Christmas special that we have seen with Bill Murray.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Michael was with me. It's good.
This week, we are talking about Bill Murray's A Very Murray Christmas off of Netflix, starring Bill Murray, directed by Sofia Coppola of Lost in Translation, and written by Bill Murray, Sofia Coppola, and Mitch Glazer, who wrote Scrooged. Fun fact.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes
believe
it
that.
make sense-ish.
Yeah.
So just to talk about what we've seen, I've seen it twice. Carl,
I watched it last night.
you watched it last night.
All by my
Michael?
lonesome.
I've also seen it twice, and full disclosure, that's because I fell asleep the first time. We'll talk about that.
Is this also a
in a
quickie
minute.
review?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with Michael, work our way to Carl, and back to me talking about
Back to me. Now you're mad. Now back to me.
Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me, but he can smell like me with a good smell of Old Spice shampoo. Look down. Look up. Where are you?
Oh,
You're
gosh.
on a beach. Michael's like,
Who am I? I'm trying to follow your instructions here. Okay, yeah, so
isn't that good? That's like
Yeah,
nice as a
clap.
prep.
I would have stood up for that, but then it just would have been a
You're,
shot.
are
of
you?
my-
Was that a shy surprise for you? Just. And then we just like peaked every last
gosh.
thing
This is
possible.
pretty. It just means a
we're
little bit.
talented.
So yeah. So.
I'll go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
I mean,
What were your hopes at least? Like going into it, what were you expecting? What were you thinking?
that's the thing, is that I probably was expecting something different when I'm honest with myself. I was expecting something a little more spectacular, a little less cheesy than every Christmas special that I have seen. That said, the second time I watched it, it definitely grew on me quite a bit.
Yep.
I was watching it more for the vocal performances that time, though, because I
Right.
did know what to expect.
Right.
And Bill Murray has got quite a nice little
Character voice.
bluesy
Yeah.
character voice. Yeah, he surprised me in that sense, and I don't doubt that, because most actors, especially if they do voice acting, I imagine they've got to have a whole lot of vocal training behind that anyways, so hopefully they can at least carry a tune in a bucket. And that
Think about this film if Bill Murray couldn't hold a tune, and it was just Bill Murray like trying to sing.
might be hilarious.
I felt
Yeah.
like there were moments that were like that though. Not. I mean, I'm the
Well,
third
Chris
wheel
Rock.
here.
Chris Rock was
Definitely.
hilarious.
Chris
That's
Rock,
true.
Um,
That's probably where they started with him though. Was they were
Yeah.
sort of like, we'll make Bill Murray look good the rest of the show if we start with Chris Rock
Right.
trying to sing.
he can't sing at all. Ooh. Yeah, so I did enjoy the vocal performances for the most part. I was certainly disappointed that the Wintertime date rape song made it in.
Yeah.
Why? I love that song.
It's the date rape song.
It is. It's so is, and especially
So
it's especially creepy
creepy.
when you've got someone as old as Bill Murray singing with that gal.
Yeah.
It just
I mean, I feel like they were, as a bunch of comedians, I feel like they were kind of aware of the date rapiness of the song, and so I feel like they kind of tweaked it in context to make it
Yes.
better. I still think that song's super creepy.
I
though.
agree. And the positive thing I will say about it is that it was done differently, and it was done in the style of Bill Murray.
In the style of Bill Murray.
In the style of Bill Murray, literally, because the lines he ad-libbed instead of the original written lines were actually kind of fun and cute.
Right.
Especially like when he like took his
Yes,
hand
oh my
and just,
gosh.
like, it's like, hey, this is like the second warmest part of the body. You know what the first warmest, Mikeal, is?
Never seen a
Again, we're
hand
talking
pull
about
back
the theme
faster.
of this song, and it's going too far.
If you guys aren't watching the video, I was talking about a penis. That was
Just his groin area.
Just
It's
the
actually
groinal-
more
the
of-
groinal
it's more of the
vicinity.
general
that's
area.
that's the warm area of the body.
No, I completely disagree with you guys. I absolutely adore that song. It's a song that was not. I mean, yes, in
You
2015.
adore the song?
Okay, yes, I love the song because back in the day, back in olden days, there was the chase, and that's how people fell in love.
Getting
was like,
a
Well,
woman.
but in olden days, a
Back in the
glimpse
day.
of stalking was looked on as something shocking.
whoa! It's
And
funny.
there
'cause-
is my musical theater plug for the night.
Oh.
I'm just saying, I don't think in the sweet old days the chase is getting a girl too drunk to leave your house.
No, that's not.
Or
That's what the
slipping
song's
her
about.
a roofie.
That's what the song is about, is getting her too drunk to leave. Listen to the lyrics.
I know.
And stealing her hat.
I understand the.
It was a nice hat, though.
Have you guys seen the Lady Gaga JGL version, where it like flips the flips the story?
Yes,
I
I loved
want
that one,
to.
and I've
Oh,
actually.
so it's okay if a guy gets.
No, I thought because it was something different, it was appealing, and that more so than the creepy factor of the song. I don't like how overdone it is.
I agree.
And how many different versions I've heard, and they all just kind of sound like the same thing eventually.
That said, I think I agree. That said, did you guys know Bill Murray had a Christmas special that came out on Netflix recently?
What?
Yeah.
What was it called?
A Very Murray Christmas.
Oh, that's.
all right.
We
that's
were
a-
actually talking about it
that's-
a long
that's
time ago on this podcast.
This is. So, anyways.
We honed down on something very specific there for a minute.
So let's switch over because we could talk about this for a while, and
Absolutely,
we will talk
absolutely.
about this after the podcast
I'm
because.
sure we will.
Anyways,
Because we
Karl.
disagree.
The dead horse was just really screaming.
Well, how did you feel? Did you like it? Did you not like it?
You know, it took me a while to get my feet under me, and I think that's probably the case with a lot of people. Like, about 15 minutes into it, I jumped on Twitter, and I was trying to look at the tweets just to try to get some sort of a sense of what people were saying about this, if they were thrown off about it or just what. And so I read some articles, too, and I think very much it became an expectations game, and then it became what it was, and then also what it was trying to be. I feel like
Right.
you almost have to look at it on each level as that. And my expectations, come to think of it, I don't really remember much about the trailers. They didn't show much. They didn't really tell you what it was. From what I read in the articles, it was really trying to throw back to the old variety shows
Yeah.
for Christmas that we haven't seen in like 60 years.
That's
so our
true.
whole generation doesn't even know. But I think then at the end of the day, what it was like the musical performances were great, and George Clooney. Oh my God, Miley
Yes.
Cyrus
Santa
was
Claus
also
wants
great.
some
I will
love.
say. So I really love like what it became by the end of it, and that's I finally laughed, but it was 40 minutes too late.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before I finally
and
laughed.
I did appreciate that they didn't apologize for what it was.
Yeah.
You know, they were like, no, this is incredibly campy, and probably a 5-year-old could have written the storyline, but
And that's what I try to take that step back is like, what did I want? Like, knowing what it's supposed to be now, did I want a good story? Did I want good jokes? Did I want good musical performance? Did I want to feel better that I was watching it alone at midnight? You know, like, and I think some of those worked and some didn't. It wasn't as funny as I think it should have been, given the cast, given the
I agree.
writing. Like, I feel like it should have had.
I agree. Amy Poehler should have had some better moments.
Well, I mean, like everybody, there were so many like really interesting cast members, and none of them got anything. Like Michael Cera was like 2 minutes. I mean, even Jason Schwartzman and Rashida Jones were in
Yeah.
there for nothing.
Yeah.
Michael Cera was really funny, but I think it was so early that no one could figure out yet who was playing
yeah.
themselves,
Yeah,
who wasn't, what the plot was, what it
'Cause
even.
if when I looked him up on IMDb, he was one of the only people who was not in as himself.
Right. I
Right.
mean,
Listed.
no, Chris Rock was really the only person who really played himself, besides from George Clooney and Bill Murray and Paul Schaefer, obviously.
And
So,
Miley
you know,
looking at
the
it
whole
right
cast.
no, but like Rashida Jones, David Johansen, obviously the bartender, you know.
Which was part of the challenge of it, is just like, what what is this thing where some people are themselves and some aren't, you know?
Right.
I didn't mind that there wasn't a strong story because, you know, about halfway through you kind of realize it's
Right.
just stringing together these musical performances. But I thought it would be funnier. It threw me because the beginning made such a statement about the blues, the Christmas blues.
Yeah.
And then it just like didn't do like anything with that. It was just it just felt really half-assed. But I think the big conclusion for a lot of reviews for myself is I didn't care. Like it was fun Christmas Bill Murray stuff, and I think appeals all
once
over.
you change your expectation to I'm here to have fun, and here's some fun music.
It's,
And a few things that you haven't heard before, too.
Yeah, which thank God we got to get out of that 50s Christmas music stage.
well, do you know why everybody uses it? Because it's all in the public domain, and everybody can use it for free.
Sure, but a lot of those songs started with the old variety shows of the time, Andy Williams. So now with a new one, it'd be cool if any of these stuck. Now, CJ, we haven't hit you yet though. What did you think?
I've got a couple different things. It's very forgettable. That's a really big thing. This is not something that I'm going to really watch again. However, there are a couple cool things that I kind of realized watching it the second time, because I watched it once and I was like, they're recording all the audio live.
Except for Miley Cyrus, and that really threw me.
Yeah.
She
that
didn't do it live.
That entire scene was not done live.
Yeah, but that it threw me because I feel like there was one song where Miley wasn't live, but Bill sounded like he was.
Yeah.
And that it honestly threw me. That's the only like nitpicky thing I have to say.
Right. Silent Night, she definitely wasn't live. But
Which
like,
was wonderful though.
It was
Like I'm
gorgeous.
gonna be
Absolutely.
I'll make fun of her for the rest of the year, but she did an awesome job on the special.
I mean, with what it was something that they filmed in over a weekend. I mean, it's obvious that it was like maybe a night, maybe 2 nights max that they filmed this. It wasn't very much time spent on this.
Yeah.
Which is probably like one take stuff. That's why so many professional actors. The acting was.
It was bad.
Before I figured out what it was, the acting was like.
I just can't even find the right words to express my shame. It's turning into more of a Chris mess, as in what a mess.
Okay, it's
I
the
like
joke
that.
from the
that
movie.
that was the Michael Cera joke, and
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah. But no. Besides from that, watching it the second time, knowing that it was they did a lot of this stuff live. They filmed all the audio live, stuff like that. It became really kind of endearing to think that he just brought a lot of his friends to make like a stupid little Christmas special.
True that.
Yeah,
Which
which
is
is super fun.
And for
just
that,
Super
you
Bill
can't
Murray.
fault him.
No,
No.
and honestly, that's something that I think that would be really interesting for us to do at some point. Maybe in the next couple years, just getting a bunch of because we got some really talented musical
Absolutely.
friends. Just like bring them together because they're all in shows. And you
That
and I-
said, Bill Murray was the glue that held this thing
oh,
together.
obviously,
And we don't have Bill Murray.
No, we don't have Bill Murray,
Yeah.
but as something because you and I have talked about directing shows, producing shows, stuff like that. This would be like the perfect medium to do that, where we just get like
for
a
fun. Let's
hang out
rent
for a
a
weekend,
space
yeah.
and just
Just have fun
Just
for a
goof off.
weekend, yeah, and just record some songs and just make like a silly little story out of it.
that would be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that I do think that there should be more of that,
Yeah.
especially with big stars because I don't like to put them on a pedestal. Being a performer myself, I try to treat everyone equally. Even if I were to meet someone like Bill Murray in person, I would definitely try to treat him like a person.
right,
And this is a way to see them that way.
right,
Because it literally felt like a home video.
Yeah.
Almost.
yeah. And I mean,
I feel like they could have done more either way, though.
right.
Like, I feel like they couldn't commit to, like, a home video of him and his friends having some fun, but they couldn't commit to a real plot either.
Well, and the dream sequence probably
Which I
shattered that
just
idea.
got. I was thinking about the Netflix, like, summary description of it,
Uh-huh.
and it was like, a lonely Christmas Eve turns into the night of his dreams. And I was like, that's the stupidest fucking summary I've ever. Oh, my
It
God, he
literally is.
dreamt.
He
I
dreamt
get
about
it now,
George
it was the
Clooney and
night
Miley
Of
Cyrus.
his dream.
But no, I
Sorry.
think this is a place where Netflix can grow out of and just grow this cool thing, this new Christmas special idea.
Yeah.
'Cause
Well,
we
that was
don't
it.
have
Was
that.
one of the things I read about, and it was a lot of people said like super good, memorable or not. This was Netflix sort of just like dropping the hammer on like, you want us to do an old time variety show? We'll do an old time variety show,
Yeah,
And I think it's really just Netflix flexing their muscles and having some fun. And like I think we could see this. What I agree. Like I think the most bestest thing about this whole thing is that regardless of the content of the special, it's the fact that they tried to do something different and that they could do
Something
variety
random.
shows now.
Oh.
So if you're not watching the podcast, we all just watched the cameras, all of us making funny faces at the cameras.
Not
Like
even
you
sure.
do.
Like as that's just what I do constantly. Like my face is always in this like weird double chin where I'm almost like, yeah, I really like that movie. It was really good. It was pretty good. and I
The
really
beard's
enjoyed
getting
it."
longer. It's hiding my double chin. It's nice.
That's nice.
So, but no, I'm just
jelly.
Netflix is breaking the norm. I'm just excited to see them doing something that could start to become brand new.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been doing really cool things where every single show that they're doing is something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Which they just did their skit show with Bob and David, which was absolutely hilarious. There's 4 episodes of Bob Odenkirk and David Cross doing like a Mr. Show kind of, sequel-ish kind of thing, and with their horror shows and then the Netflix Marvel shows and all this stuff. Every single thing that they do is different.
It is different in that way that it's pushing boundaries and it's kind of new and fresh. That's why I was just excited to see a variety show because it's like, when's the last time you heard of that? But the fact that they could start to push that even more, to do stuff that no one's ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
I was looking at the timestamp of this Murray special when I started, and it was an hour. And I was like, that's not TV show length. That's not movie length. Like, what is this that I'm about to watch?
An animal
Yep.
altogether.
It was brand new.
Yeah, and Netflix has that right because, like we were talking about last week, they're pretty much leading the market on the new age of television.
I agree, and it's exciting, So whether or not we get more Murray specials for Christmas or we get other variety shows or specials coming down the pike, whatever Netflix wants to do, it's exciting to see some variety. But whether we'll see this particular Bill Murray special again ourselves,
No, I wouldn't watch it again. I've already watched it twice. I know it's coming.
Yeah, I think twice was enough. I might see if I can convince my family to watch it with me.
if they released
or just
an
play
album,
in the background at least.
If they released the soundtrack on iTunes, I might buy a song or two.
I would buy the Bill Murray Chris Rock. Do you hear what I hear?
Yes.
Because that's
I
just-
would buy George Clooney's solo.
Oh yeah,
That-
I hope that
Because
becomes
I'm
the new
so
Christmas
bad.
standard is the George Clooney song.
And everybody on Facebook is talking about how Miley Cyrus really rocked that Silent Night. I didn't like it.
I liked it.
I thought that she was
did
was
okay.
good. No, yeah, I mean as a vocalist, and
She's a great vocalist. I've heard some really good things.
Definitely.
Well,
And-
and then I've
and
heard some really bad things too.
Sure. And I think she's trying to break through this barrier that every child star ever has come across, and she's doing it in a very different way than most. And I think good on her for trying different things and to show off, hey, look, no, I'm actually a solid vocalist. I know that
She is.
Talking
has a
about
lot
that, it's really awesome to see Maya Rudolph like in something again because you haven't seen her in like a decade. But having her have like a really good voice was really. She was the lounge singer woman.
Right.
Yeah, that was great seeing her
dig
again.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
was fun.
she probably vocally, I would say she was the best performance
yeah.
out of anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but lots of variety. And speaking of variety, I just wanted to comment, Karl, on really shaking it up outfit wise today.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
you can't be a lemming. You can't just fit in.
Hi, my name is Karl, and I hate Christmas.
Actually, I adore Christmas. I just also really like wearing black.
Black Santa. That's a whole different thing. Oh.
I was just going through my wardrobe really fast, and I do have a red shirt though, so I could have fit in. But
You could have, but it's okay.
No, way to
I didn't
go
get the
outside
memo.
outside the box.
I didn't get the
there.
memo. So
Black.
can we schedule it that
Making
when
it right in black.
Okay, so when we do Beasts of No Nation in 2 weeks, you guys wear black, and I'm gonna wear festive
Oh,
colors.
Yes,
No.
that is the plan. I love it.
Just irony. That was a text.
Yes, it was. Oh my.
So what do we got? Well, before, just to wrap up this Murray thing, would you guys recommend this to any of your friends? I know you
Watch
mentioned
it.
your family.
Yeah,
you know.
it's an hour
Oh, yeah.
long. It's fun. Expect like a variety show. Don't expect like because I was expecting something along the lines of like Scrooged or Lost in Translation, something a little
An
bit
actual
more.
production.
Yeah, exactly. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of fun people singing some songs. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You can sit there and go, "Hey, I know that person from that movie," and they're singing a song.
It might be
Cool.
best viewed, honestly. Like have a small
That
holiday
should
party.
be like the title for it.
That's the description on Netflix.
Hey, there's a bunch of people that you saw for movies. They're singing. Cool.
That's like every movie with singing ever. That's what actors are. You guys just defined actors.
Stop ruining our fun, Carl.
Like I was
God.
saying, I feel like
Why do we
this-
keep them around?
I don't know.
Fucking asshole.
So,
like I was saying, I think the best. No, I was getting up to go, but yeah, you're right. I feel like the best way to view this is like get like 6 people over, drink some eggnog, hang out, have a party, and put it on kind of in the background.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know?
It is good background noise.
And then
for
switch
sure.
it over
That's a horrible
to.
thing to say.
For your Christmas special,
Christmas-
please watch Beast of No Nation.
I wasn't gonna go there. I was gonna go with the Nick Offerman. Is it he's drinking the whiskey by the fire?
Oh, it's 40 minutes of him just drinking
Yeah.
by the fire.
Oh my
Those can be your
gosh.
2 background Christmas specials.
That sounds fantastic. I
for
haven't
the-
seen this.
the-
So
yeah.
instead, it's he just recorded that instead of like the fire for like a long time. It's just Nick Offerman just drinking whiskey.
beside a fire.
Yeah, beside a fire. Which
Like
is
he's hanging
that-
out with you.
it's
makes
perfect.
me happy.
Yeah. I watched through the entire thing. Not like sit down.
You sat down and you were just like, God, this is
Man,
wow.
that fire is totally
it
not
you?
on a loop. Oh,
Who
which-
was it that
yeah.
was watching something? I think it was you. You put something on and it was paused, and you watched like 5 minutes of it paused, and you thought it was like an art house
or
something.
or
Was
like
that not you?
or like with Daredevil, he watched the first 5 minutes of it.
It
with
was
no
Daredevil.
screen.
Oh, so no. This is what happened with Daredevil. So what
Oh, we're
happened-
doing it from the
So
perspective. Why is it not
shut
the
up,
Daredevil
let me-
radio show?
Let me tell my
Let him
freaking
tell
story.
it.
So, anyways, so I'm watching Daredevil, and it's on my TV, which is actually behind the cameras here. And for some reason, like it sounds great, but there's no screen. It's just black screen, and I was like, it's Daredevil. You know, he's blind. This is really interesting that they're going through this entire first scene, like in the eyes of a blind kid. And then it never changed. And then I was like, so maybe I just didn't watch the episode and just listen to it like it's a radio
Oh
show.
my gosh.
Oh, there's that Daredevil. Boom, 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 boom.
Brilliant.
Welcome to the Daredevil radio show.
God, this
Brought
is so
to you by
bold.
Ovaltine.
So bold of them to just. We were just talking about how bold certain
Netflix
choices
is-
are anymore, and just Netflix
They
to
have
go
an entirely different
the
category.
whole
That's
pilot
radio.
of Daredevil is a blind guy, and they just didn't shoot a thing.
Okay, so talking about that, wouldn't that really actually be interesting to see?
It would. That would be a very bold choice.
Yeah, a very bold choice to have the entire show not filmed. It's just an audio show.
Oh, good golly.
It would save a little bit of money on that.
Yeah, probably a lot of
Quite a
money on
bit.
that.
And then they could just say that they hired all these cast members, but it's just like some guy doing just voices.
Yeah, like that one show, Family Guy. Yep.
So,
What are we watching next week?
we're going to be watching Sci-Fi's new sci-fi show that is in the science fiction genre called The Expanse.
The Expanse.
Yes.
And it's a sci-fi, right?
It's a sci-fi show.
What
That's
channel is
called-
that on?
Sci-fi. So the show's called The Expanse, which is about this guy who's played by the old actor who did Punisher. He loses his pants.
The Expanse.
Took me a minute.
I don't know anything about the show. It looks interesting.
It's space.
Yeah, the episode's already out on
It's out on Facebook.
on the interwebs already. It's on Sci-Fi's website too, which is sci-fi.com.
SYFY.
Sci-fi. But no, it looks
Check it out.
looks interesting. It's got a pretty good cast. It's got a good production value. I'm hoping.
It's sci-fi.
So
leave the
talking
production
about
value bit
talking about
waiting
me
on that.
speaking today. Apparently, I've been drunk all day because I can't pronounce Jeff Bridges. I was like Jeff Burgess.
Just do a pronunciation guide on Jeff Bridges.
Generf Burges. That's Generf Burges.
Bianca Dong.
Yeah.
Meonkadonk. That's the best.
Justin Bieber's is my favorite. It's Juggy Brodelstein. Juggy Brodelstein. Or Joaquin Phoenix is also good. It's Chikuku Fahuinas. Chikuku Fahuinas.
CJ just watches pronunciation guide videos all day.
He just has a playlist going.
At my old house, and my old roommates can attest to this, I would put it on for like 2 hours straight and just sit in front of the computer just like laughing and like laughing hysterically to the point of tears because it was so funny. Like astronaut. Astonut. It's so funny, and it's just like 5 seconds long. Those guys are brilliant because they make a lot of money off of like 5-second videos.
I can't even believe that.
They do. They make that's the best way to do.
We haven't done one in
tons
like
of short content.
6 months.
Yeah, well, they're probably traveling the world with all the money they made off of
Astronaut.
rewatching the
We
YouTube
just
video.
said a bunch of random stupid words, and we have
This
all
guy
this
CJ
money.
just watched this like 6,000 times, and we just made
So
made us
few,
work.
like, yeah, it's just me.
All
I'm
right.
the only person who watches these videos.
Well, I think
Talking about the only person that watches our videos. Thank you, our one
Thank
viewer.
you to our viewer.
Hats
We're
off
gonna
to you,
start
man.
to wrap it up
We
now.
have less viewers than cameras.
This was 18 minutes of analysis and 10 minutes of jokes.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
next week the Expanse. The week after that,
The feel-good movie of the
wait,
year.
no, we've got Expanse on Monday.
Then
Star Wars on next
Star
Friday.
Wars.
11 days. 11 freaking days until a new Star Wars film. I don't know what to do with myself.
Probably just keep working.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I just work and just
Maybe
wait until Monday and we do
Yeah.
the podcast. And I'll
Finish
be like,
editing
hey, then we
this
only have
and-
4 days until the new Star Wars.
Mhm.
And I'll be like, hey, it's the Star Wars podcast. And then it's over. Because Jar Jar Binks is actually have you heard this one?
No.
Jar Jar Binks. There's a
There's the Sith.
It's a Sith,
The
yeah.
Sith
Yeah.
Lord Jar Jar Binks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
It's been going on for
Darth
weeks.
Binks.
Is that what Jar Jar is short for?
Well, have you heard this like
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, and some of it could line up. I just don't get the sense that the writing is that subtle.
Yeah, George Lucas is not subtle at all.
No.
So
No. So, anyways, thanks so much, you guys, and
you.
we will see you in the Expanse.
yes, as always, this is a Something Random Media podcast. My name is Charles Kelly.
It is.
This right here is Carl Pfeiffer. This right here is Sausage King Michael Macbeth.
You know it.
And yeah, guys, thank you so
You're
much for
the
watching.
sausage king of Chicago.
So
This guy.
It's over. Why are you still here? Go home.
Okay, bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye
Okay,
now.
bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
now. Wait, are they gone? My face
Oh,
hurts. My face hurts from smiling so much.
Uh,
I'm an alcoholic.